Jerry Augustine. We met each other at Stan Cassidy last year, and students were looking after Jerry, and I got to know him then. And then I heard him on the radio, CBC.
Oh, all right.
I did. And it reminded me as I was planning for this course, and I was able to get a hold of Buffy. Buffy is in the 3rd year of nursing, so she was with us last year in 2nd year. And so I was able to wrangle my way in to get Jerry here, and he's come 2 hours today to speak with you. So, and that's no easy feat, right?
Not really, no.
Yeah. So he's got his entourage here with him, and I really appreciate everyone taking their time today and coming to share your experiences with us, and I would ask you to welcome Jerry.
Good morning, everybody. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I think, in 1994 by my neurologist, who was referred by my family doctor. He sent me to a multitude of tests, blood tests. Then he sent me to an MRI, and there was no MRI machine in New Brunswick at that time. The closest one was in Prescott, Maine. So I had to go out of province to get the test done. He got the results back, and he called me into his office and basically told me, you have multiple sclerosis. And I couldn't help but giggle at the whole thing, laugh. I openly laughed because, I don't know, it didn't seem like a really big deal because it wasn't at the time. It was just a little tingling that I would get every once in a while up my spine. For a few seconds. It might last 5 to 10 seconds. Kind of tickled, and I would stop walking, and then I'd keep going, and it was gone. Like, I thought this thing was never going to catch up to me, so it wasn't a big deal. So when I went to my doctor's office, and he said, you have multiple sclerosis, I openly laughed in his office. Couldn't stop giggling, laughing. And my mom came in, and they told her, and of course she was devastated. I was 21 then. I'm 41 now. So that was like 20 years ago. Yeah, I just never thought that it would ever catch up to me. Some of the questions here I'll kind of go over. Have you ever experienced powerlessness / helplessness? All the time, constantly, like powerless. One of the big things that I lost basically is the use of my left arm. I could lift it, but I lost all motion in the hand itself. I used to play guitar. Played guitar since I was like 8 or 9 years old. Used to be in a band, and I lost that over the years. I haven't played guitar in maybe 15 years, 12 years. But now what I do is I have 3 boys, 3 children aged 20, 18, and 13. Wow.
Happens fast, eh?
Yes. So I teach them by, I'll listen to them and I'll tell them, well, you're doing this wrong. Try playing it this way, and so that's what I do now. I teach guitar. But that was the hardest thing, I think, was well, of course, when I couldn't walk anymore. like I say, I'd be walking in the mall, then I would have to stop. I'd get this tingling up my spine. I'd stop, and about 5 or 10 seconds later, it would go away, and it kind of tickled. I didn't mind it at all. But then all of a sudden, I was going around my house. I lived in a small house, and I started holding the walls. Just to keep my balance. I still had a lot of strength then. But eventually I ended up in a chair probably 12 years ago. And my wife, she was dead set against a wheelchair. She did not want me to stay in a wheelchair. Like, she figured I was giving up to the disease, letting it take over my life. And I tried to explain, no, I just can't do it. I'm tired all the time. One of the symptoms of MS is overwhelming tiredness. And so I lived with this, like I say, for the last 12 years. And then we got an episode of W5. It was about the liberation treatment. There was a doctor in Dr. Paolo Zamboni, and I forget where it was, Italy maybe. But he was what they were doing was they were going into the jugular vein in the neck, and they were inserting not an angioplasty, but
Stent?
not a stent.
No.
Balloon?
A balloon to expand it. What do you call it? Anyway, they went in with a balloon. They expanded the vein because they had done an ultrasound, and they noticed that the veins were blocked. One of them, they said, was 95% blocked. And that's it. The other one's not much better, they said. So they opened them up. And then what they do is with an ultrasound, they just go up to your neck and they can hear the blood flowing. To give you an idea of how well it worked, on the flight over, we left Moncton, flew to Toronto, and Toronto to Germany, and then to Poland. And I was awake maybe 2 hours the whole flight. On the flight back, I got up that morning, I was awake all day, flew to Germany, back to Toronto, back to Moncton. We went out to dinner. I didn't shut up the whole time. I was telling jokes, and I think my youngest son put it best. Like he said, he couldn't believe it. He said, "I got my dad back," and it was good. It was really good. We had to raise money, I don't know, 10,000 or so.
More than that, I think.
Yeah, 13 or I forget now. We raised money. And then a year or two later, I wanted to get checked again just to see if the veins were still open, if the blood was still flowing, but they wouldn't even do that here. They wouldn't do the ultrasound just to check to see if there was still blood flowing. So we had to raise money again, and flew over again, did it all over again. And then just to do a simple 5-10 minute check. Oh, you're fine, blood's flowing okay. One of the first things I noticed was, of course, the energy level, but on the flight over, I always had suffered from cold feet, very cold feet. flight over was really cold. I couldn't pick my feet up on the plane. Like I felt like I wanted to take my socks off and just heat up my feet. But coming back, they were toasty warm all the way. It was quite amazing. It had been years since my feet were warm.
What about movement, Jerry? After you had the treatment, did it help?
Yes. I used to suffer from really bad tremors. Like I couldn't even feed myself. I would try to eat and I would pull myself in the eye, and it was really bad. Trying to brush my teeth was a nightmare. I couldn't, like tremors were so bad. And I've seen other people that have the same type of tremors. But ever since I went to the liberation treatment, no shaking now at all. I completely stopped it. The vision in my left eye, it's not as sharp as it used to be. I can't even describe it. It's not black, it's kind of a graying fog in the middle. Right eye is still pretty good. But it attacked the left side of my body. I can still move my arm, but I just can't use the hand really. Same with the left leg. I can stand still. When I do transfers, I'll stand. But my left leg is pretty well useless. What else do we have? Movement. The hardest thing to accept about my disease? I don't know. Having to give up guitar, that was kind of tough to take. One of the ways that I deal with the MS, people ask me, like, how do you deal with it? Well, one of the ways that I deal with it is through humor. I don't know, because I know people see me in a wheelchair and automatically it's just a human reaction, human instinct to feel bad for that person, and they don't know how to treat you or react to you. Like I lost a lot of friends for a while because they didn't know how to treat me anymore. And I would tell them, well, I'm still the same guy, same sense of humor, like I'm not a monster. I just have this disease. And that was tough to take. People treating me differently, I didn't like that. So I would always try to lighten the mood with humor, like, you know, I've got this disease and there's not too much you or I can do about it. So I'll always crack a little joke whenever I can. Like, one of the funny things that I'll do sometimes, I'll be transferring from like our vehicle from the van to my chair, and I'll stand right. I'll use the door and help me stand up straight, and I'll get a good stretch in my hips. And every time, like in the parking lot of Walmart or something, I'll stand. It's a miracle! Just one of the things I do. But, yeah, humor I find is make the best of the situation. I mean, I've got the disease. Best thing to do is accept it and make the best of it. So I find humor really works well. For me, anyway. Some people get depressed and they become very secluded. I don't know, it's just not in me to be negative about anything in life, really. I know I got dealt a pretty shitty hand, but, you know, just make the best with what you got, and yeah, humor. That's the ticket. This is just happened lately. 41 now in the last year.
Yeah.
I have to read it now. I have to. Can't read with my glasses open anymore.
It's a 40s problem.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
also
so.
struggling.
How did the experience change your outlook on life? Well, obviously I had to, I used to, I've worked all my life. I drove a tractor trailer internationally for 10 years. Then when I couldn't drive anymore, they gave me a job dispatching. I did that for 2 years. I worked, but then I had to give that up because there was a long stairway to get to the office. Then I had to give that up. And then I got a job doing the best job I've had in my life. And that was working in the woods, being a logger. Greatest job ever. Working out in the fresh air, like nothing to worry about except your saw getting dull, and gassing up, and that was that fresh air, physical labor. I don't know. I worked in the office before, but this wasn't for me. But I was strong. I did that for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years maybe. Then I had to give that up, of course. Toward the end, I'm so stubborn, I guess I would be actually on my knees. I would fell a tree, and then I would be on my knees limbing the tree, and it was just crazy like that. Stuff like that, but, and then now, I've got a fishing boat. I fish for lobster and snow crab. And that's about all I can do now. I can steer a boat, which is a lot easier than. So, what I say is, I'm not dead, so I do what I can. I've got a family of 3 boys and my wife to provide for. Still, I still have my mind, my brain, my smarts to make all the right decisions in life, and that's one thing that I always had was my mind. I could always fall back on that. I know there was I have this cousin. He came over, and he's into the dope, right? He comes over and he says, "Oh, you gotta try this, you gotta try this." And I've never smoked marijuana in my life. And so you gotta try this, you might get up off that wheelchair and start walking. And I was skeptical, so I'll give it a try, all right. So we went outside, we were outside my house, and I took a couple of puffs. And I'll tell you, I have never felt so stupid in my life. So I went inside after we were done, and of course we got the munchies. And I found this salad from a Piece of Light, I think. I started eating this salad. And the table was quiet, like I had 2 of my friends there, really quiet, not much around the stuff. Told them, this has got to be the best salad I've had in my life. Some of the stupid things that I remember. Yeah, the lighter points. I think it's important to remember the funny moments, the fun times. What other questions do we have? Did I change as a person? I don't think so. I never really lost my sense of humor. I've always had my mind to rely on. That time I had to smoke the marijuana, like I say, I felt really stupid. And I said, no, that's not for me. I need my mind to stay sharp. So that was really important. My mind. Other than not being able to walk and the use of my left hand, like everything, I'm still, like what I was offering actually from home is that I said I need to do something. I need to find something to do. Rather than fishing seasonally, I can do something, stay busy. Like there's only so many times you can LOL on Facebook. It just gets old. So I started doing, I realized that people, I started writing resumes for people. People had a hard time, a lot of people, most people probably don't know how to do a proper resume. So I can do that, I'm an expert at resume. I got this resume writing program that gave me the basic tools I needed. So I started doing that. I get people to come over and they give me their information. I told them, it doesn't matter what you bring. You can bring a scrap piece of paper with your name, address, and experience you got. So I would fix it on the computer with, make it look all pretty. And I know one thing I will not add to a resume is, I like taking long walks on the beach and stuff like that. No, don't ask me to do that. But it will make you look and feel more professional when you go in for an interview. So I started doing that, and I was keeping track. I probably did about 30 resumes, and I was keeping track, and I was batting .444, I think, which is almost half of the resumes I did. People got full-time jobs. Some of them are working out west, and some of them just don't want to work. Doesn't matter what resume could be at a goal, it wouldn't help them. So that was one of the things, like, I never thought about things like that. Like, people don't know how to make resumes. I just kind of stumbled upon that. Like, I can do that. I can write a resume. What else do we have here? How do I face the future? Well, the future is, right now, it's, I'm at a point now where they're saying that all MS is Lyme disease. They think it's just undiagnosed Lyme disease. They're saying they'll send you to get a test here in Canada, but they don't know what to look for. So what we did, we got a couple of vials of my blood, we got a package, we found this company out in California. And they test, they know what to look for, and they can find Lyme disease. And we're pretty certain, I think tomorrow we're getting the results. Yeah, so if it is Lyme disease, we're having a party. That's what I'm thinking. And if it's Lyme, that's curable with antibiotics. Yeah, if it's Lyme, like, at least, well, with the liberation treatment, we stopped the progression because it was getting bad really quickly. I went from walking to the chair to really, like, losing, like before. A few years ago, I wouldn't have been able to talk to you like this. I would have been asleep up here by now. Yeah, it was getting really bad with the tremors, but we stopped it with liberation. We stopped it, and now we said, okay, let's go after the problem and try to fix it. So we figured it's Lyme disease. We're gonna find out what antibiotics to take, and we're also looking into stem cell treatment. So there's a lot of things that on the forefront. That's what's in my future. Like, I don't know. My dad has been a great help. He's naturally positive, which makes me positive, and it makes me look at the brighter side. Don't look at well, tomorrow you're gonna wake up, you're gonna have this disease. No, tomorrow you're gonna be a little better. This might happen tomorrow. Like stuff, a lot of stuff is on the horizon. There's so much that can happen, and that's how I look at it.
Are you on medication?
I was on the anti-interferon beta blockers, the Copaxone, the beta seron. I was taking those, which are injection dose. One was every 2 days, I think. That was beta seron. The Copaxone, which was once a week, I think, intermuscular. They give you a needle but that long, you gotta drive it into your leg. And you swear it's gonna hit your bone, but I did that for a while. And one of the side effects of these medications is that you have flu-like symptoms. After a while I said, well, what's worse, to have flu-like symptoms or have full-blown MS? So then I stopped taking. No more. I haven't taken those in at least 6 months. I stopped taking them, and I feel great. I take vitamin D supplement if I can get outside and get enough sun. Vitamin D supplement, omega-3. And I take mood medication. It kind of helps me not to be a jerk.
I'm sure your wife called you and said that.
No, it takes the edge off. I told the doctor, I don't want to feel high, but I had trouble controlling anger sometimes. Like, I just get frustrated with this disease. And it's one of the symptoms they say of MS is your mood. You're very barky. So I take these medications to kind of take the edge off, and I feel more normal. Yeah. No, I made sure, like I told the doctor, I don't want to feel high. I just want to take that edge off. I don't know, what else do I take? Yeah, just an omega-3 supplement. I don't even take vitamins. One thing that I have done lately is I lost a ton of weight. 46 pounds.
Very good.
Yeah, I used to be huge. No, I went on the Atkins drop the cards, eat all I want, and the weight flew off of me, and yeah, I feel great. So that my handlers come in and help me take a shower or something, get up doing transfers around my house. They're really happy because I'm so much lighter now. I'm not dragging my ass up. So that's a big difference. Yeah, and the Atkins, like I don't exercise a lot. I mean, you know, if you consider clicking most exercise, yeah. But I get stretched every day. I have a woman that comes over, she'll stretch my legs and they'll stretch my arm just to keep the range. But I dropped the weight slowly. It took about, I don't know, 3 months. Dropped the weight and I feel great. One of the things about Atkins is that your energy level kind of drops for about a week. You feel kind of down, like lack of energy, and all of a sudden it shoots right up. And you're full of energy, which is what I am now. Yeah, with the weight loss, and like I don't even think about carbs anymore. This morning I had a piece of English muffin, my breakfast sandwich at Tim's. That's the first piece of bread I've had in months. What else? Do you have chronic pain? I get asked this quite often, actually. If I have any pain, people think I'm numb, and they'll go over to my leg and they'll hit my leg. Does this hurt? Yes, it hurts. Yes, because I feel everything. I didn't lose my sense of touch. I just lost the muscle strength. Since I can feel every little thing. One of the tests my neurologist did was he would take like a pen, compare sides, and no, I still feel everything. I never lost the sense of touch. Yeah, pain. I never had pain. I've heard there have been some with MS that have lived with pain all the time, but not me. I never did have any pain other than the numbness. I gotta tell you this story. No, it's a good story. One of the things that I found was I would go down to the old Stan Cassidy Center, and I would stay there. And all my life I've been very, I don't know if you'd say skeptical of God. You know, you kind of, well, if there was a God, where is he now? And that type of thing. But I went to St. Cassidy, and what they would have down the old hallways, every night they would have sitters outside the rooms to kind of watch over the patients. And I would wheel myself down the hallway, and I would talk to these people every night on my way to bed. And I got to know them all. And what they were just students coming for extra credit or something. And then one night I should say, there was this girl there. She was reading something and I asked, what are you reading? I said, well, it's called The Message. What's that? Oh, it's just a condensed version of the Bible. It's made for easier reading. I said, oh, that's pretty good. You know, good for you. And I kept going. And then the next night she said, well, you should really buy one of these books. And I next out and picked one up. So I did. Bookstore and picked out The Message. And I started reading it. And then it was a lot easier. One of these nights I was going down, and the same nurse was, she was reading The Message, but she was getting out this big book. And I thought, what is that? And this is the actual Bible. When I don't quite understand what's in the Message, I'll go to the real Bible and get clarification what it actually says. Yeah, so I got The Message, and I would see her and I told her I got the message. And I tell her that yeah, I'm starting to read it and I started feeling good. And I was really happy. I had found God. I started praying. Like I started to have a connection with God now. So then I wanted to thank her for turning me onto this book, The Message. And I would go down, and I didn't see her anymore. What happened to that nurse that was reading the Bible? What nurse? There was a nurse here, she was reading the Bible. She had 2 books, always. Nobody knew. Next night I asked again, there's that girl that was reading the Bible. Nobody had a clue what I was talking about. They thought it was nuts. Nobody. I looked for her. I was there a total of 6 weeks. I looked for her for 4 weeks. Nobody had ever heard of her. Like, nobody had a clue what I was talking about. So, yeah. Yeah, I went home and I went and talked to my priest and what's going on here? Why is this happening to me? And he said, no, that was a messenger. Sent you to get off your butt and yeah, I like that story. How do I feel today? It's kind of cold in here.
It is cold in here.
Want to put your jacket on?
Yeah.
Sweater, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not bad. A little, I can say I had a breakfast sandwich. Coffee is, I drink too much coffee.
It's okay, Jeremy.
Right? Yep. Would I change anything if I could? I don't know, really. I don't know. Because I don't know if I would be a bigger jerk if I was able to walk. Like, maybe I would turn into Mr. not so nice person if I was still able to walk and do whatever. But I can't see that happening. So yeah, I'd like to be able to walk. One of the things that's been hard for me to do with these last 4 months is my common law wife of 32 years, yes, was that young when we met, when we first met. 32 years, she left. And went out with my best friend. I had known him longer than I knew her. She left. She's with him now. And that's stuff like that kind of, I mean, you know, I'm sorry I can't walk, but I'm still the same person. That's what I say. I don't know, there was some bigger issues there that, stuff like that, I don't know, I think it's just general life problems. It's not part of MS. She says it's because I can't take care of myself, I can't take walks on the beach anymore, so well, but I'm still me, you know, like, that's been tough to take. So that would probably be the hardest impact on my family. I still have 2 of my sons living with me. The oldest is working in Moncton. And they still look to me like I still offer them guidance, advice. I've always been proud of the fact that I could teach them how to be good people, smart. They're really smart. And it's because, I mean, my ex-wife will tell you it's all her, isn't it? No, it's because of the lessons that I instilled. Like education came first, no matter what. Education, music, then you can do what your mom tells you. No, and I can see that in their eyes, like she's kind of trying to pull them away from me, trying to take credit for everything, but my sons know that like this is where the stability is, and I take pride in that. Some of the biggest adaptations I've had to make. I still have my driver's license, but nobody let me drive. What happened was I lost my class 1 license. My doctor took it away because I couldn't pass the physical. So I lost that, but I can still drive a car. But I had to adapt. That's one of the things I had to adapt to. I couldn't drive anymore. I couldn't go where I wanted to. I got my power chair, but you know, there's only so many times you can go down my driveway and back. Yeah, how would you change anything if you could? I don't know. I don't know if I would. Like you say, I don't know. maybe it was meant for me to be this way. I think I'm a nicer guy because of it. But who's to say if I wouldn't be a nice guy if I didn't have this? That's a tough one. What advice would you give nurses caring for me? I could say initial reaction is low-cut t-shirts. As you can tell, I like to throw quite a bit of comic relief into learn about the patient and the way they like to do things. If they like with me, I'll take a shower. I have a shower chair where it wheels up and it slides over into the bathtub, and I'll wash myself. I wash everything except my back. I need the nurses to wash my back and my armpits. But I take pride in that. Like, I shave myself. I can't shave for beans. No. I still take pride in that. I had to stop when I used to have the bad trimmers. Now, it's okay. I would say find out the way people like things done. Learn as much about the patient. Listen to the patient. That's what I would say. To really listen. Like, I would ask them, well, what do you normally do? How do you like this done? Certainly. That's what I would ask. I mean, I know of some other people that have had strokes and stuff. I remember one guy in particular, he's had strokes and he's always barking at his nurses. Like, he doesn't appreciate what they're doing. What they forget is these people are just people. They're human. And they're not machines, they're not robots. They're not your servants, they're people. They're trying to make the best of a bad situation. That's all I would, maybe if, I don't know if that's, I don't know if it'd be proper to tell patients, maybe, maybe kind of tell them, well, I know you have this condition. I'm doing the best I can. Work with me here. Work with me. Help me to help you. That's what I would advise. Have I grown as a person? Well, this is another story. All my life, I've been 6 feet tall. Buffy remembers this story. Because it's retarded. Listen to this. 6 feet tall. So when I got the MS, of course, understandably, I lost 2 inches. All of a sudden, I'm 5'10". Then I got in the wheelchair. When I got in the wheelchair, I started to notice, like, during my transfer, I'm feeling taller. I measure myself 6'2". That's 4 inches. That's a lot. I figure if I stay in this long enough, I might be playing for the NBA. There's some days harder than others regarding your symptoms. Well, it's not really that much different for me anyway, like symptoms. Some days, good days, bad days, but it's not as, like for me, it's not that big of a difference from day to day. Every day is pretty well the same. It's just how I deal with it. One of the things, actually, Buffy wrote this to me on Facebook text. She said, like to try to lift your spirits. She said, try to smile. Try smiling right now. So I'll smile. I feel kind of stupid smiling on my computer screen, but it works. I will smile and I will start to feel better. And I do that. Since I started doing that, when I start to feel down, I'll actually force myself to smile and I start to feel better. What sort of life philosophy do you have? Nice. Thank you. Well, you say I became religious about, actually I was 33 when I found God. Which is somewhat of coincidence because that's how old they say Jesus was when he was crucified, 33. See? Got that. I don't know what it means, but it's gotta mean something. I pray, like when I'm having a really tough time, I will pray. And it helps. It helps me a lot. Do the best you can every day. I would tell your patients, we're all doing the best we can. We have our good days and bad days. How did you feel on first receiving your diagnosis? Well, like I said, I laughed quite hard, I might add. I laughed even harder when my mom came in and my doctor told her. Yeah, she wasn't laughing. She was in tears, but I was laughing. I know it's kind of because I now knew there was the name attached to it, and I don't know. This may not be I actually thought it was pretty cool at the time that I had multiple sclerosis. Like, that's a cool sounding disease. I thought it was neat because I thought, there's no way I can ever walk again. And yeah, but initially I laughed. How do I hold on to hope? Well, like I was saying, a lot of it is my dad. We're always doing we're staying on top of the new development, the new findings, this Lyme disease thing, and then the stem cells, and that gives me hope. Keeps me positive and what is possible. What are some positives of your illness? I don't know. I think it made me a nicer guy. Funnier guy, I think. because I use humor so much to lighten the mood. I mean, I know there are people in here, initially, they saw somebody in the chair and they said, well, you know, let's, you know, take it easy on this guy, and he's in a wheelchair. But I find humor, it kind of puts everybody at ease. And I find that's one of the first things that I try to do whenever I'm around new people. I try to put them at ease. I'm just a person. I didn't change as a person. With the humor, I always, with all the miracles in the parking lot and everything else. Yeah. That's why you do it, just to lighten the mood. How do people now treat you differently? Initially, they did. People didn't know how to treat me. They didn't want to hurt my feelings. They didn't want to. But after talking to them again, like friends anyway, like they realize it's still me. I'm still a person. And like one of the things I used to do in the mall, when I've got my powered wheelchair, we'd be walking in the mall with my boys, and they'd be walking beside me and my boys, and just some of the things like I'm a prankster, I guess. We'd walk them by a store and I'd push them into the displays they had. They would knock stuff down. I don't know. Just humor, I think. If I didn't have humor, I think I'd go nuts. But yeah, so I would tell your patients, you know, it sucks. Your condition, having your condition sucks, but hey, nothing you or I can do. We can make the best of it. That's what I would advise. Do I ever ask why me? Sometimes. I'll ask why me. Sometimes I ask God, like, you know, why me? And then some people say, well, God only gives you what you can handle. And I do feel like I'm a better person because of the disease. In certain ways, I'm better. Why me? Sometimes I'll ask that. I've gotten very angry when I pray. You know, why me? But there comes a point where you have to stop blaming other people or God or anything else. You know, this is the hand you were dealt. Make the best of it. And I try to. I constantly try to. Because everybody knows that I have the disease. I can't change it. They can't change it. But I want these people around me. And if I want to be around me, so how can I make them want to be around me? And that would be to make the whole experience positive. What advice would I give somebody who has just been diagnosed jerk. Yeah, just keep being positive and stay positive, stay hopeful. I mean, that's all I have is hope now. My biggest concern was, well, at the time, it wasn't, and it should have been that I couldn't play guitar anymore. Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that. Like I say, I didn't even, I never thought of being a chair. So concerns like that never occurred to me. So biggest concerns when I was diagnosed, I had none really. I didn't know anything about it. Nothing about the disease, so didn't know what to expect or how bad it was gonna get. Have you changed intellectually since being diagnosed? I don't know. I find I was slowly getting a little more becoming maybe more of a jerk. And I think the disease helped me become a nicer person. That's how it would have changed me intellectually, I guess. Spiritually, definitely. I told you about that. How did my family take the news? Well, yeah, it was harder for them, I find. And I've always been, it's just in me to kind of bear the load for everybody. And I would be like, oh, don't worry about it, I can handle this, I'll be okay. That was a big thing for me, to put their minds at ease. I can handle this. Don't worry about me, I'll be okay. Normal day, normal weekday, is I get up at 8, or just before 8. I get stretched, get put on the table, stretch my legs, stretch my arms. And I have this wheelchair. It's pretty neat. It's one that it'll stand you up, straighten my hips, my knees. Excuse me. Puts weight on my legs, and that always feels good. I love that thing. Then I get breakfast. She'll make breakfast. Sit there and watch Maury. That makes me feel better about my life. Yeah. Watching. I don't have it half as bad as these guys. What do you wish the health staff would have done differently? I don't think there was really anything that I would have wished for differently. We're all very professional. And personally, I was very, I knew that the nurses were human. So, trying to treat, the patients should try to treat them human, and you should try to treat the patient like humans. I mean, they're a person. They're not a machine. You're not working on a robot here. They're a human being. And it probably wouldn't hurt to tell them that, you know, I'm just a person. Remind them. Patience. Questions are starting to get repetitive now. I've already covered them.
Jerry, I'm just wondering if the class has any questions.
Yes.
For me?
You have 24-hour care from
No.
or-
No, I have a nurse that comes in every weekday, 5 days a week. She'll stretch me and she'll cook me breakfast. Then I have 2 nurses that'll come 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to help me shower. But other than that, that's it. My family. Yes?
I know you said like initially you laughed and you didn't know a lot about the disease. Did you find that your healthcare team tried to provide you with information? Did they feel they could help you better, or was it because you were in denial? Because sometimes patients don't get the information they need, you know?
Well, I did, like I say, I didn't really know about the disease. I think my doctor might have given me a pamphlet or something. Here, read this. And, yeah, I think if a little more effort was given by him to educate me on this could happen. There's a good chance that this will happen. Like if I had known 20 years ago that I would be sitting here in the chair today, you know, I could have planned for it, I think.
That's common.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Financially, I know you said you had to raise money to go get your surgeries and things, but things like your wheelchairs and stuff, is that covered by any coverage you have, or?
Actually, my powered wheelchair is covered by, I think it's Indian and Northern Affairs. They paid, they got me my chair. I wish we could have brought it, you should see this. Now it tilts, tilt that thing back and it'll tilt me back, which is good. It gets the weight off my butt and kinda, I can stretch my legs. And one other thing I forgot to mention. Shortly after the diagnosis, like I used to drive a truck, like I used to say, and I'd have to pee. So I pull over and go pee, and it wasn't 10 miles down the road, I had to pee again, over and over and over. Well, it turns out what was happening is I wasn't emptying my bladder. So this came along, God, 15 years ago. I have to self-catheterize, or actually take a catheter, insert it, and to void my bladder, that's what I have to do. But as far as the bowel movements, that's still okay. Still works okay.
Do you have sensation?
Yes,
So you know when you need to go?
yes. Yep. I didn't, like I say, I can still feel everything. People think I'm numb or I can't feel anything like that. Does this hurt? Yeah. I get some of that once in a while. They'll pinch me. And
Yes, they let me try.
yeah, doesn't this hurt? Yeah. Yes?
You said you haven't played guitar in a long time, or 15 years. Have you ever tried like different technology or different ways, like made a guitar just for you, or somehow you could still strum away at something? Have you ever tried anything like that?
I've considered it. Actually, it was at the, I think it was the Stan Cassidy Center. There was a patient there who had something made. He could still use his left arm, but not his right. So he had a machine made that would pick the guitar. He would just hold the strings, the chords, and he would pick it. And I was singing. If I teamed up with this guy, he could do the left leg. That's what I was singing. But I still use my right hand and stuff. I could do it in right, but I can't really see how I would operate the left side. Yes?
Do you have to make any modifications to your boat, like getting in and out, and just so that you have to pay for it at your own coffee?
The boat?
Yeah.
Right now we just, usually I wheel down to the dock, the floating dock. I'll go there and I'll get my dad or somebody to prop me up, lead me onto the washboard, and then I just swivel around. Not really, not a real big deal. Anybody else? I'll be signing autographs.
Jerry, I just want to thank you. Jerry's the kind of guy that when we were at Stan Cassidy, as you can well imagine, we all love to care for Jerry, and we would all tend to I'd have to come in and see Jerry, and he definitely still needs a driver's license for the wheelchair. Like, how was I? Not so good, was I, at that wheelchair? Not
No.
good at all.
Yeah.
Very special.
Well, we called in an exorcist a couple of times.
Anyway, thank you all, and again, thank you. We have about 10 minutes. How about at the discussion, when we have the discussion